Is rated as the great horse.
There is Slew of Gold, a 4-year-old. Angel Cordero, of course, is aboard. Slew of Gold this year beat Track Baron in the Whitney and came back and won the Woodward, Frank.
The chain across his lip, a modified leather chain to protect him. He can be a little extreporous, but there's no telltale sign of excitement. His sleek bay colt is very smooth.
We talked about Slew of Gold having a chance to sweep the Fall Championship Series a year ago. Here is why he missed by a neck. Watch in the center of the racetrack. Slew of Gold with Cordero. So concerned about Bates Motel on the outside, he took him wide. That Highland Blade was allowed to sneak on by on the inside and win by just a neck. Of course, with a win at the Woodward by Slew of Gold and the Jockey Club, had he won here, he would have swept that Fall Championship Series. So he's back now as a seasoned veteran, as a 4-year-old. He'll carry 129 pounds, but he's got some physical problems, specifically tenderness in the right front frog. That's the area at the very rear of the sole, a natural cushion on the horse's foot. So these specially designed modified bar shoes we've talked about will be worn on both the left and right front hooves. And trainer Jim Hill, who's also the co-owner, says we wouldn't run him if he didn't think that he would win this race.
Well, I don't think the shoe will stop him. No trainer prefers it. But this shoe, as you saw in the picture and see here, protects the frog, the heel of the foot. He bruised it and been troubled with it a few weeks. I saw him moving yesterday. He seemed very smooth. Now, if you're prejudiced, as Jimmy is a little bit against the bar, believe me, 50 in 1932, Far Lap won his only race on this continent with 2 bars on his front feet, and handicapped horses and have done it constantly. This year, Lucky, Lucky, Lucky campaigned successfully with a bar shoe. So it isn't impossible to accomplish.
Of course, the Greek gets a little bit nervous when you start modifying the racing equipment. And when you look at the weight, Slew of Gold, we've already told you, will carry 129 pounds. This is a very tough race, Greek, in terms of favorites. Only 3 of 11 favorites so far. And when they come in heavily favored, what happens?
When you carry 129 pounds, you're carrying a real package. Now, this horse is rated as one of the great handicap horses of history today. And if he wins today, he is the greatest horse.
You see the significance of this graphic right here that Slew of Gold, number 6, is giving at least 10 pounds to each of his 8 competitors. Frank Wright, let's take a look at Pine Circle, 2nd in the Arkansas Derby, 2nd at Belmont, 2nd at the Travers.
Well, they play the music. Leads the post parade. He carries 114 pounds. Patrick Day is aboard. As you look at him, he's only won 2 races, but nearly $400,000. He runs in the stretch. He has run-down bandages on, as many horses do, running on the sandy New York tracks.
Number 2 is Canadian Factor, 5th in the Woodward, and he's a late runner.
He's a Canadian bred, as his name would indicate, carries 114 pounds. Rider Walter Guerra, he is a late runner, and he drops 9 pounds from his Woodward effort.
Number 3 is Morning Bob, a 3-year-old, won the Pennsylvania Derby, then a good effort, 3rd in the Pegasus behind Hail Bold King and CARR to NASKRA.
He carries 115. Jean-Luc Saman is his rider. He did well, as you enumerated. He did well against 3-year-olds. When he runs against older horses, he doesn't have as much luck. Maybe he'll do better today.
Number 4 is a 4-year-old, Bounding Basque, with Chris McCarron up 4th in the Woodward.
A decent 3-year-old record. He's only had 2 moderate efforts this year. One of the top riders in the world, Chris McCarron, aboard. His connections say he'll improve.
And number 5, Hail Bold King, made that bold move in the Pegasus, has won 4 out of 5 this year. 5th in the Travers, his only off effort.
He carries 117 pounds. Jorge Velasquez is aboard. His off effort in the Travers was with some excuses, a fever he had early in the meeting, a traffic problem. So he is a tough horse, 4 wins, 5 efforts.
Slew of Gold, the 3-5 early morning favorite, now at 7-5, will tote high tonnage, 129 pounds.
Well, he's 3 for 3 this year, 2 stakes, the Whitney and the Woodward. He will be tested, and Jimmy pointed out, good horses sometimes do what they have to do, even if it's virtually impossible. He has a tough task ahead of him today. Angel Cordero, as usual, aboard.
Number 7 is Big Bet, a 4-year-old, 3rd in the Woodward and a sloppy track.
He was indeed 3rd in the Woodward and won his first outing, a stake to Carter. He carries 115 pounds today. Robbie Davis is his rider.
Number 8, Is Your Pleasure, has been scratched. So number 9 is CARR to NASKRA, the winner of the Travers, the winner of the Jim Dandy, a double there. 5 wins in 9 outings.
Lafitte Pinkai is his rider, 119 on this 3-year-old. A neat-looking little thoroughbred. He seems consistent. He seems to improve. No excuse for his second at Pegasus, but he does not like mud. No mud today, Jim.
And Frank, how about number 10, Shifty SHEIK, claimed by the magician Oscar Barrera for $35,000 in a space of 25 days. He turns into a stakes contender.
I have never seen a horse improve that much in that amount of time in my long lifetime, Jim. He might continue to improve. He might be tough today. He can run.
Well, we will find out in just a little while. In the meantime, we've got 4 winners here this afternoon that have been sired by past winners of the Marlboro Cup. That should fare very well for Slew of Gold. His daddy, of course, the great Seattle Slew. Every racing fan remembers Seattle Slew, the $17,000 Cinderella horse, winning the Triple Crown in 1977. Retired to stud in '79, Slew is now a $120 million sire.
Come on, going down here to see a pretty girl.
In just 3 years, auction prices for Seattle Slew's yearlings have risen to an average price of $1.3 million. Only the legendary Northern Dancer brings higher prices.
All the points that a successful sire should have when he retired from racing. He had tremendous speed. His conformation was excellent. He was good size, was 16-1, and he had a heart that was, you know, as big as gold. And I think that's what he throws in his offspring, and a super temperament.
Buyers pay that $1.3 million looking for a champion, and Seattle Slew sired 2 out of his first crop of yearlings, the only horse to do that since Bull Lee in 1930. Today's favorite, Slew of Gold, was last year's 3-year-old colt of the year and has already earned more than $1.2 million. Deluse was the 1982 2-year-old filly of the year and Slew's most promising daughter until she died of a viral infection. And Swale is the sentimental favorite for this year's 3-year-old honors. He won this year's Kentucky Derby and Belmont Stakes, but he also died of a mysterious ailment. That hasn't deterred buyers from bidding up the prices, though, for Slew's offspring.
If they were worried about it, it didn't show in the marketplace because in '83 they averaged 600 and some thousand, and in '84 they averaged $1.6 million. So it had no effect, nor should it.
Not all of Slew's foals have become champions or winners. Most, in fact, have not yet even raced. Like their daddy, they seem a bit tentative and awkward as youngsters, but they mature late into powerful runners.
The older he got, the smarter he got, and the better he got. You always hope for them to transmit that to their foal. And I know most of the horses that he throws, they're very good horses.
So the 4-year-old son of Seattle Slew concedes 10 to 15 pounds to 8 rivals, 4 of them top-grade 3-year-olds. The Marlboro Cup coming up next. After this message and a word from your local station. At current odds, Pine Circle has dropped all the way down to 7-1. Morning Bob, the Pennsylvania Derby winner, back up. Hail Bold King, a bold move for the bettors, down to 7-2. The 3-5 favorite was up to 9-5. Slew of Gold back down to 4-5. Number 8 was Scratch, and a big price on Shifty SHEIK after finishing second here at the Woodward just a couple of weeks ago. All right, Jimmy the Greek, it is that moment of truth now. If you don't like the modified bar shoes, if you don't like 129 pounds, you don't like Slew of Gold, who do you like?
I'll tell you something. Slew of Gold is still the champion until they beat him. You know, just like in the heavyweights, if you're the champion, you got to beat me. Who's going to beat me? Hail Bold King or Pine Circle. That's the 3 that I'm going with. Slew of Gold, Hail Bold King, and Pine Circle to run a big race.
All right, the Greeks triple right now. Let's go out to Charles C. Candy. Charles?
I'm out here alongside of Pat Day on Pine Circle, and we were just discussing that very same thing that Jimmy was. The difference between Hail Bold King and Pine Circle. Pat, they don't regard you quite as highly as Hail Bold King.
Well, I think the people that are betting on the horses today probably was at the Meadowlands tonight, or the Pegasus. The horse ran an awful good race that night. I just seen the rerun. Looked like he ran a powerful race, but don't underestimate this colt. He's going to run big today.
All right, good luck to you. I'll tell you, Pine Circle is not a very big colt. If he comes along through the stretch alongside a Slew of Gold, he lost in the shadows, I believe.
For champions here in the Marlboro Cup, 2 minutes even at 1.25 miles. And Frank, you've seen a couple of races as far as times go. Who does the early speed favor in this race?
I don't know that it favors anybody. The track has been cuppy all week. If it's a major factor, Jimmy and I have mentioned the fact that Shifty SHEIK would prefer the slop. Other than that, I'm not that concerned about the track surface. As you see him approach the gate here, Jim, Chelsea would probably have a comment. She's close up as they circle around the gate. Chelsea, what do you see?
I'm out here alongside Don McBeth on Shifty SHEIK. He's drawn post number 10. The gate is set at a strange position. Donnie, how does this affect your strategy?
I don't think it's going to affect mine too much, Jonathan. The outside post with the gate set this way shouldn't hurt me at all.
You rode Shifty SHEIK when he won his first start across Cabrera, who was claimed, and you're back on him. Do I detect a change of strategy here?
I don't think so. The other jock was tied up and I was open.
All right. We understand that Oscar was not pleased that he laid quite so close. Maybe we'll see a little difference. Good luck, Donnie.